Coach Charles Tiu, thank you so much for joining us here in ABS-CBN. Okay, of course, I know you got asked this a lot from your previous interviews. What happened from your perspective?
Oh, from our perspective, well, for one, we were winning the game comfortably. I thought the game was pretty much over. We just got to hit a three. We're up by 20. Two guys got entangled, Chris Flores and John Amores. They may have somehow tripped each other. But as Chris Flores was getting up, he got kicked by Amores. I don't think the television cameras showed that, but we clearly saw it, and the referees blew their whistle. So I think they're probably going to give him a T and they're going to review. But as he was standing up, he kind of bumped the referee already, and there was a bit of an altercation. So, I saw him. Everybody saw him actually charging at the refs. Even he wanted to grab a ball, throw it at the refs, but the JRU's board member, si Paul Supan, was able to come down from the stands, tell him to calm down and get him to the bench. Okay, we thought after that, okay, medyo tapos na. But I guess there was somebody, apparently I was told, which I didn't hear, but there was somebody from behind our bench, a fan, not one of our players for sure, who was heckling Amores, and that's when he charged and all hell broke loose. I guess it was just so fast, we didn't even know how to react in the moment. It was a bit of surprise, and then the next thing you know, I see my guys falling down like flies, and two guys got sucker punched who weren't doing anything, by the way, and a third guy was chased at, si Oxo, and thankfully he was able to escape, but almost he got shoved still.
Behind the scenes, Charles, kasi syempre, that was the fourth quarter. It was a long and physical game. There was some struggle also in terms of how JRU is placing in the spots, diba? And for them to be able to trail like that, hindi mo na masabi, syempre yan ang basketball, diba? But what were siguro happening na behind the scenes? Kasi I'm sure hindi lang yun eh. Parang baka meron siyang pinanggalingan kung ba't naging ganun ng resulta.
Well, I'll tell you this for sure. My guys were getting hit all game long. In fact, I didn't want to put in si Will Gozum anymore because he told me they were just following him hard and giving him some cheap shots. Si Sanko said he was punched. So I took him out a minute before that happened because I was like, you know what, the game's over. I don't want anything to escalate. But you look at the track record and the history, they've been known as a physical team. They get into a bunch of scuffles and altercations with a lot of other teams, not just us. I think in the first game we played them, Amores also got an unsportsmanlike against Cortesa. So, my players were complaining all game long. And what can I do? I tell them to just keep their cool and not hit back because, again, we're trying to make the Final Four. I can't afford guys to get suspended. And if they want to play that way, that's up to them. But we don't play that way. We just go out and play basketball. So maybe it's there, but I'm sure they also were getting frustrated. I mean, you're getting beaten up, blown out rather in the game, but I still think there's no excuse for those type of actions, and it's tough. I mean, when you go charging to another team's bench, I don't know what to expect. I don't know how the other team's supposed to react if you're just supposed to stand there and watch and let yourselves get punched, right? Because they know that he's gonna go for the punch, and it's tough. And some guys, they really just stood there, and unfortunately they got knocked out.
Yeah. To be fair, Charles, I was watching the highlights over and over. And when you think about yung turn of events and how it happened, similar siya to Malice in the Palace. I mean, sorry for the comparison, but Ron Artes then, he got taunted by a fan. He charged and then all hell broke loose. But when you compare it here, when he charged, you could verify this from your perspective, siya lang naman yung talagang nanapak. Siya lang ba? Or parang everybody else umaawat pati yung GRU umaawat. There was an assistant coach from GRU na naka-yellow. Inaawat talaga lahat ng players Wala naman talagang iba. Tama ba?
Actually, I think we had one player who threw a punch at him as he was charging. But I mean, what are you supposed? As I said, what are you supposed to do? It's like may mag-charge sa bahay mo, attacking your family na with intent. Tapos tatayo ka lang, tatanggapin mo lang. So I guess he probably acted in self-defense because you don't know who he was going after, Amores. I didn't even know who he was going to go after. Kung kami players or kung sino. It was scary and it was really fast, full speed. And, he looked really angry. So it was tough. But yeah, everybody else, I think pretty much just stood their ground. And unfortunately, they got punched. Yeah, their coaches, some of the coaches stopped or trying to stop, but they were trying to grab our players. I think they should be grabbing their players and pacifying Amores, but they were pushing our players out. But at least, I guess they tried to pacify. I just wish when the incident happened, they didn't even let him break loose. I mean, I saw a bouncer miss a tackle on him. Sayang kung na-tackle lang siya before nun, tapos na sana yun. Pero ganun talaga
Okay. I'm curious, did anybody from JRU try to reach out? From
No,
anybody?
that's actually kind of what I want to say disappoints me, but maybe I'm expecting too much, but a simple sorry would have been okay. I mean, I know some of those guys. I know their coach. You could just I would have appreciated a sorry at least for whatever happened. I mean, maybe they don't think they're in the wrong or whatever excuse, but I think it's pretty clear that they instigated everything and we had no reason to. If you wanna blame it on the fan who was heckling or what, I mean, for sure it's not our players. I'm sure nobody was cursing at him or giving him any fingers. But if it's a fan, I mean, you should be used to that by now, right? Because you see every game. I mean, when you play the big teams, Letran, San Beda, their fans are also heckling everybody. You gotta be able to take that, right?
You're right. How are the players now?
Uh, they're okay naman. Si Pastron, at least I'm thankful it wasn't a fracture because he has a big black eye. Tain Davis, we had him CT scan. I'm not sure if the results have come out, but they were at least allowed to go home from the hospital at about 3 a.m. last night. So it's been a long day, tough day for them. Very tiring also. But I think, and I hope we may have escaped from any major injuries naman, thankfully.
I'm curious, Coach Charles, after the whole incident, we couldn't imagine what was it like in the dugout. What were the talks like in your chats? How's the team's morale? How's the team after that and up until now?
Well, some guys were apologizing. I mean, see, the guy who punched was apologizing, but we just tried to because he said, hey, what could he do? He couldn't hold it back. They were charging at everybody. He had to protect the team. So I said, yes, so guys, I can't really blame you for that. Of course, I had warned them prior and many times already not to retaliate, not to do anything because we know that's what they're gonna do, and they have nothing to play for. We're trying to make the final four, so we have more to lose than them, and we were winning the game. So no, but I praised them. I lauded them for at least keeping their cool for the most part because let's face it, one guy's charging to our team. If my guys are crazy and they all gang up on him, there's no way he comes out of that alive. But no, because we know the bigger picture. We're not out there to start fights. We just want to play some basketball. So I lauded them for keeping their cool for the most part, diba? And I just asked them to stick together. I hope we can rally around this, and hopefully, I'm sure there will be sanctions even to some of our guys. So hopefully, we can overcome them and just find a way to win. And I hope this will not be a season changer in the wrong way for our team.
I know you got asked this a lot also when it comes to kasi that's why it's a big story kasi this is not the first time. Diba? Parang clearly there's something already and it goes beyond basketball when it comes to cases and charges. What do you know? What can you say when it comes to this aspect?
Well, I know the UP player had maybe their management has filed charges in Quezon City already against the Amores. So yeah, you're right. This isn't the first time, which is what saddens me. You would have liked to think that after that, maybe you can give him some guidance to help the guy deal with some issues. He probably has some anger issues, some improve his whatever he's going through, help him overcome that. But the way he was playing this season was still pretty much the same. There were so many close incidents to fights, even with other teams. So that's what bothers me a bit. But yeah, to see this happen again, that's what is more scary. You could maybe forgive a guy if it happens the first time, but how many times is this gonna happen? Di naman called for, diba? So, yun lang. I don't know if for sure if he will press charges. I heard one of my players told me that his parents want him to file charges. I think the school probably wants to also. So maybe that will be in the cards. Because if you ask a lot of people, they're all like, "Yeah, you should definitely file charges." But no, I leave it up to the higher ups to decide. Because also, if you're a parent and you see your son getting punched like that while he's just standing there, I mean, how would you feel, right? I mean, if you were punching and fighting back, you'd understand. But the guys were trying to stop and not doing anything at all, and they get sucker punched. Of course, it would upset any parent.
Is this the worst you've experienced as a player, as a coach, or as a player in basketball?
I think so. We've in the past I've seen some scuffles live. There have been some fights, but sucker punch like this, maybe this is and at such a big stage. I think so for us in the NCAA. Yeah, definitely, this might be one of the worst. Although I was in Gilas back then when in 11 when there was a fan who was charged also by a certain player. Let's not name names from the opposing team when they were trying to hit our Gilas team back then. So, you know, we've had our fair share of, we've seen some, but yeah, this as a head coach, this is one of the, I'd say, worst and most unfortunate events, especially when, you know, we're having a good year. You know, we just want to continue, just want to play basketball. We don't need any distractions and anything like this.
Lastly, Charles, Coach Charles, how does the team move forward now? Pending all the results, medical results, and pending sanctions.
Well, I'm waiting for the sanctions to happen. See, and we'll have to adjust. We're gonna probably lose some players, so that's gonna be hard for us. But you know, again, we just have to stick together. Hopefully, we're a deep enough team, and we understand that situations like these just help you grow and make you a better person. And hopefully, we can learn from it and just stick together. That's really where you see the true character of the team when adversity comes, and hopefully, we can rally around this and maybe make a deep run in this season.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach Charles Tiu.
Or